My name is Genesis Zamora.
My name is Julian Bravo.
My name is Bovey.
My name is Jimmy Purcell.
Hi, my name is Kirk McConnell.
My name is Carly Owens.
My name is Angelica Davalos.
My name is Roberto Hernandez.
My name is Janet.
My name is David Arredondo. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
My name is Michelle Menace.
My name is Julie.
My name is Justin Kenward.
My name is Andrea Smith.
My name is Sarah Godin.
My name is Ashley Martinez.
My name is Savani Campos.
My name is Micah Rhodes.
What is my name? My name is Moses Estrada.
My name is Kelly Bowen.
Christina.
I'm the guy that used to take photos and cover my crotch with my hand somehow. It just always ended up there.
My highest rank at the Breeze, I currently do the calendar.
As a news and feature writer.
I was the editor-in-chief of The Breeze.
The highest rank I achieved at the Breeze was cartoonist. No, I mean editor-in-chief.
I really didn't have a rank. My title was cartoonist. I was a staff cartoonist.
I was editor-in-chief for the spring 2013 semester.
My highest rank at the Breeze was editor-in-chief, and that was in 2011.
My current rank, I guess is the highest, is the news editor.
Colonel of the Galactic Universe. General Manager.
My highest rank at the Breeze was calendar boy. So they always sing the song to me. I love my little calendar boy. Instead of girl, because I'm not a girl. Sorry, guys.
My highest rank at the Breeze is photo editor.
I was photo editor for a couple of years.
My highest rank at the Breeze was photo editor.
My highest rank at the Breeze was editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief, but I also worked as managing editor and online editor.
My highest rank at the Breeze was editor-in-chief for fall of 2013.
My highest rank at the Breeze has been copy editor and sports editor.
My highest rank at the Breeze was sports editor, long-term sports editor.
I think I made it up to grunt photographer. I'm not too sure. Nobody really notices me there.
Well, unofficially, I think I was Doug's boss.
I started out as a photographer, but my highest rank at the Breeze was the multimedia editor. I did that for about a year.
Writer, editor, writer, contributor.
And at the Breeze since fall of 2012.
Since fall of 2014.
I worked at The Breeze for pretty much exactly 2 years.
I don't think I've ever really stopped.
1 year. Although I wish I could have worked more. It's a family there.
Came out to a year and a half.
I started at the Breeze in 2009 and I left in 2011. So I was there for about 3 years.
2.5 years.
I don't know, 2, maybe more. Feels like an eternity.
January 2013, so it's my 5th semester.
Oh, that would be a long time. Less than a decade, but more than 5 for sure.
I worked at the Breeze for 5 semesters, so that equates to 2.5 years.
I worked at the Breeze for approximately 1 year.
I worked at the Breeze for 3 years.
I spent 2 years working at the Breeze.
I've worked at the Breeze for 1 year.
I worked at the Breeze. We determined this 2.5 years. Yeah.
I've been working for the Breeze. I want to say maybe a year and a half, maybe just a year. Time flies. I'm not too sure.
Unofficially, I worked for the Breeze for many years, but nobody really knew. But on the record, I think only for about a semester or 2.
I believe I was at the Breeze for 3 years. Yes, 3 years.
Just a semester.
How do I feel about Doug? I think Doug is a very interesting person. He's legit, as in cool. I love Doug. I treat him like I don't love him, but I do. Doug is great. I'm really gonna miss Doug. I adore him. I call him Dougward. That's how I feel about Doug.
I feel that Doug is an awesome guy. He has a lot to say, and he could go on forever in conversations. He's taught me a lot.
How do I feel about Doug? This one's kind of unfair because I don't feel like we're gonna get enough time to express, you know, how important Doug is of a person. I love Doug. Doug is great. Doug noticed right away that I didn't take a lot of things seriously, and I took only the important things seriously. And I didn't even realize it until much later that he completely managed my skills that way. He would only put things like in front of me that he knew I would actually do properly, and things he knew that I had no interest in, he would only bring me into the part where it would become interesting, and then that's how he taught me to do well. So I like Doug. Doug does his research. I like it.
It's a tough question. I love the guy. I definitely love the guy. I owe a lot to him. He helped me a lot through the formative years of my comic career.
Doug, I feel like I love you, man. You're the greatest. And you're generous. And you always knew the way to my heart because it always reached my stomach first. I always enjoyed the meal times when we were doing our Thursday night production night.
Doug Walsh is an amazing human being whom I love dearly. He saw the potential that I didn't see in myself when I started at the Breeze, and so he pushed me to write instead of just take photos, which I was very much opposed to, and it turns out now that writing is one of my favorite aspects of my major, and so it's because of Doug that change happened, and I will forever be thankful for his little pushes in the right direction to make me who I am today.
I love Doug. He's my favorite teacher that I've had, advisor that I've had. When I was at Chafee, he was the person who motivated me the most to be a writer. So, what was the question? I'm sorry. I think I answered it. I love Doug. He's awesome.
Doug, I feel like Doug is kind of how do I explain this? I mean, obviously he's old. I think he's an old man in that he's aged, but his mannerisms are that of an old man. He says very old man things. He likes to go to the races. He likes to gamble. Not like in an addictive way, but basically Doug is like a wise old man. If I was an action hero, Doug would be my Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ben Kenobi, the crazy wizard, not the young spry Ben Kenobi.
Doug is a unique character. He brings a lot of unique traits to the office because he loves horses and the Dodgers, and we work in a journalism office, so somehow that works. I don't know how that happened, but it does. And he's got a great sense of humor.
How do I feel about Doug? I think Doug is old man. He's had a lot of experience. He is a wild ride when you go places with him. He's always entertaining. In fact, when we went to JCC, is that what it's called? I forgot already. I was the only one who wanted to go on the tour with him. No one else wanted to go walking downtown. So I consider Doug like a dad or a grandpa. More like a dad role model though. Appreciate everything he did.
Doug is an amazing instructor and an amazing advisor for a group of students. He's just an amazing advisor.
Doug is an inspiration. I always like to say that this world deserves Doug, and he was put on this planet to make everyone else happy.
I think Doug is awesome.
Doug is a cool guy. He was always there for me to give me good advice. Like when I thought that I was gonna have to sleep with my math teacher to pass so I could transfer to Cal State LA, he said, no, just tell him that you're trying and that you're doing your best and the math's probably not your best subject or whatever, but you're not gonna go into math and all that kind of stuff, and that it would make the difference in the world. So after I had tried really hard on a math test and I had failed it, I went up to my teacher with tears in my eyes and I told him that I did care and I was trying. And it worked. I passed. I don't know how, because I think I got a D on the final, but Doug, you saved my life and you helped me transfer to Cal State LA, so your alma mater. I want to follow in your footsteps and make you proud.
I think Doug is awesome. He has been an inspiration and literally changed the course of my life by letting me be a part of the Breeze.
Doug is pretty cool, you know, he has his moments, you know, when he's butchering your first layout ever, the Breeze. But he's a total sweetheart and I love him.
No, he is the most wonderful man I have, the most wonderful man, the most wonderful teacher that I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. He's a really great guy.
Doug's pretty awesome, I gotta say. He helped me become a better photographer in ways where he taught me how to like really engage with the people you're shooting. But on a serious note, he's an awesome dude. It was a pleasure getting to meet him and being a part of the Breeze. The only thing I didn't like about him is he always talked about my team. And you know, it's all cool because I'm a Giants fan. It's cool. I'll let it slide.
Hey, I'm doing the interview, right? I think Doug's an outstanding guy. He was very pleasant when I took the class. I know he's been dedicated to student journalism for a long time, and that's something that I appreciate as someone who appreciates the free press. So Doug's a good guy.
I feel that Doug was pretty awesome guy, pretty laid back. He really let the editors and everybody in their own departments really have, you know, kind of the full control of their area, but you know, within the guidelines of what it is that we were trying to learn. So I think Doug's a great teacher and a really laid back guy.
Completely and utterly indifferent. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm standing here very nervous in front of a camera. Doug is amazing, and it's really unfortunate that I've only been part of the Breeze for a semester because Doug is quite a character, and I'm really sad that I've only known him for a semester and that he's leaving, so I won't get to know him for much longer in the sense, unless he comes to visit, which he better come visit. Anyhow, so I really enjoyed my time here. I had only seen him briefly and heard lots of things about him from different students, so getting to meet him, getting to know him was a very awesome experience. I'm really happy that I had that opportunity. So.
The most important thing Doug has taught me, how to write dates properly when I'm doing the paper. He always talks about AP style and how I always do it wrong. Also, Doug has taught me about dating. And he always tells me that when I do get a boyfriend, I need to bring him and he needs to be approved by Doug.
Talk to others, to always view the positive sides of everything. And he's taught me how to become a really good writer, how to check my facts and make sure everything is correct.
Doug taught me better ways to use discretion while at the same time being in front of absolutely everybody. We had a few incidents where we would make people mad. We had the infamous probably to about 400 people, marijuana issue with the pipe, the phallic pipe. And for some reason it was, I was like in the Breeze for like 3 weeks, and they said, you go also talk to the vice president. And Doug gave me a lot of advice from there, and it helped me be the editor I became. Yeah, he taught me that you can be discreet and in everyone's face, and that's a very important lesson to learn. That's a good way to be a leader. So yeah, thanks for that.
Was to stop making so many comics that are inside jokes. That's helped me a lot. It's helped me get more of a fan base, widen my view. I've got fans now in different countries, and I don't think I'd be able to get that without the help with Doug. Without the help of Doug.
Not take life too seriously, to enjoy what I'm doing, and to look at everything with a positive attitude, but most of all to remember to spell check, to proofread, and do things right the first time.
There were many Walshisms through my tenure at the Breeze. Let's see, I still cannot stand here at blank, so if we were at Chafee, here at Chafee, oh my goodness, it just makes me twitch. They do it at my church, they do it at Cal Poly now, and I'm just, you're either here or you're at Chafee. Still gets to me. I also don't use the word very anymore because very is a pointless word. Probably one of the most important things that Doug taught me was something that he wrote on the whiteboard during a production day. It said, "Tell me a truth and I'll believe, teach me a fact and I'll learn, but tell me a story and it'll live in my heart forever." This is something that I found really interesting when we talk about journalism stories, because a lot of the stuff that we cover at Chafee is either very repetitive or not very interesting. And so putting that storytelling aspect really helped enhance my writing and change the way that I look at some of these stories. But it's also something that I see a lot in my current education at Cal Poly Pomona, where I'm a public relations major and learning about how storytelling really connects your target publics with your message. Yeah.
To be just chill about everything. He's such a chill guy. You see him, he's never really stressed out, but he gets his work done. So one thing that I've really learned about him is that things will get done when they need to get done. And if you need extra support, he was our support. So that's what I've learned about him, by him, for myself.
The most important thing he's taught me is basically when to put an apostrophe. A lot of people put them when it's not possessive, which is something that really gets on his nerves and that people do a lot, myself included. But probably more importantly, he taught me, before I came to the Breeze, I hadn't been in Chafee for that long, and I've always been a lazy person, but Doug really taught me that if I decided to not be lazy, I could accomplish a lot of things. He said so in his own words himself. And people used to say that, but it didn't really mean much, except when Doug said it, it felt genuine. Like he really believed it.
How to attribute a quote. Yep, I know how to attribute a quote now, Doug. I can do that.
I would say stop being vegan, because you would always be frustrated that I couldn't eat anything. So, look, I'm not vegan anymore. Triple check my work, I guess. I don't know, something like that.
The most important thing Doug has taught me is that lame puns make great headlines. I've learned a lot working at the Breeze. Although Doug didn't actually teach, I learned a lot of photography. I actually learned writing. I learned journalism. And I also learned that he's incredibly good at managing students in some way that's remarkable.
Confidence. There has been many different scenarios where I had to face law enforcement and administrators and other type stuff in regards to just protecting the quality of my work and making sure it wasn't really tampered with or even just taken advantage of. And that meant taking a lot of hard choices and putting myself in a very difficult spots and confronting a lot of powerful people. So Doug gave me the ability to find the confidence within myself to do what I need to do for art and photos and news journalism in general.
Patience. Doug's the most patient man I've ever met, and anytime I feel like I'm impatient with people that are being ridiculous, I think about Doug.
Well, besides don't offer to sleep with your teachers to pass the class, I would say Doug and I have we're both Irish and German, and we have that in common, that we have that special connection, because I don't know a lot of Irish German people, and so I don't know really what that means to be Irish German, but I remember he taught me that it means because we're German, we have a good work ethic, and because we're Irish, we're always drunk. And it all made sense. I was like, oh, when I was editor-in-chief, that's why I always come drunk to work. And he was like, oh, don't tell me that, Sarah. So thank you, Doug, for helping me trace my heritage and find out more about myself.
To not say here at Chafee. Also to, I think, to believe in myself. That was the most important thing I learned from Doug.
Definitely has to be to not be afraid to go and find a story and just write what I think about it. Yeah, very encouraging.
He taught me the integrity of a journalist, the honesty of a journalist. He taught me how to really appreciate and love baseball, which was a sport that I tried to avoid for most of my life, but now I absolutely love it, and it's probably my favorite sport to write about. But mostly he taught me honesty and good work ethic when it came to the newspaper and production and deadlines. Yeah, he taught me so much, and this is just all that I remember at this current moment. But yeah, mostly just integrity and honesty and a love for the game.
The most important thing Doug taught me kind of ties in with what I said earlier. He just really taught me photography, and he really emphasized to me about learning my style. He's taught me how important that is. So that's kind of one thing I've been working on, which is why I'm in front of this brick wall right now, because that is my style. I love shooting in front of brick walls. And thanks, Doug. You taught me that.
To laugh in the face of adversity.
Basically everything about journalism. And I was able to bring a lot of those things to multimedia journalism, and it's something that I still do today. Definitely Doug really gave me some amazing insight into the history and what is to become of the future of journalism, and it's been really helpful.
To lose gracefully, and he has a lot of experience considering I'm right 99.9% of the time. So I'm really, really, really proud of that. But besides that, in all honesty, and it's just to be confident as a writer. My background is mainly in creative writing, so dealing with poetry and stories and everything. So coming into the Breeze was a really big step for me, because writing factually was difficult, but instantly from the start, Doug has been really supportive, and I really do appreciate that as a student, as a person, and now as a journalist. And so I think that's one of his greatest lessons. It's just to be confident in what you're doing and know that you are able to do something.
Treasured experience that I've shared with Doug Ward. Let's see. I want to say every experience I share with Doug Ward is very treasured. I will always remember anything I've ever told Doug. Every time I tell him something, he makes me laugh. I adore him.
When he bought everyone pizza at JCC last fall at Fullerton College. It was really awesome, and the pizza was really good, and I want to thank Doug for that.
We were right on the cusp of getting in a lot of trouble for something a photographer did. We're might be in trouble with the Chaffee PD and with the office. And honestly, that was one of the best conversations I've ever had with any leadership position ever, was the secret meeting that I had with Doug about how we were going to handle this. And it went like 3 seconds long. Doug pulls me aside, he puts his arm around me and says, "Bovey, you know what to do." And that was really awesome, actually, that he had that much confidence in me. I had no idea what I was gonna do, but he said, "You know what to do." Yeah, the way he was so confident made me confident. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that. It has helped me make the big decisions after that. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my most treasured experience with Doug. We were all gonna get in big trouble, and he's like, "Nah, you go ahead, you do it." And I was like, "All right, cool, thank you for that."
Going to the cafeteria and getting some coffee, or just meeting up with him and getting coffee, to getting the Chinese food back on back on production nights. Sorry, I was gonna say late nights. They went late, but the production nights. To when he did not go to Hooters with us, right? Because that would be wrong, teachers can't go to Hooters with you, so of course he didn't go with us.
One of the treasured moments I shared with Doug is probably the cartoons that I've done, especially when we had the Kevin Caduto fiasco and having the elephant and the knife stabbing in the back. That was probably, I wasn't geared towards being against the ASCC, but I wanted to tell a story, and I felt like maybe I stepped on some toes, but that was something we shared, was being real. I would say being real is what we shared.
Probably one of the biggest moments is when it was a moment where it was just he and I in the newsroom. I think there were a couple other people off to the side, but he and I were having a conversation. It was my first semester there, and I asked, do you really want me as photo editor next semester? And he looked at me and he said, Carly, I want you as anything you want to be next semester. And that was a moment where I realized that Doug really did believe in me, which I already knew from past experience, but it gave me the motivation to want to keep going, to want to be photo editor. Another one was that next semester when I was photo editor, when we went to JACC, I ended up winning first place on the spot feature photo. And that was a crazy moment because we heard Chaffey College, and as soon as we heard Chaffey College announced for first place, we all started screaming because at the time Chaffey didn't win first place awards. And so we all started screaming and missed the name of who won it. And so as the photo editor, it was my job to go up. I walked up to pick up the award, assuming that it would be the other photographer that entered because I didn't think that I was good enough. And then I saw them holding the plaque, and lo and behold, it had my name on it. And I stopped, I pointed and screamed, "That's me!" for everyone in the auditorium to hear, and then promptly burst into tears. And so after I took the plaque and I headed back to the Chaffey section, everyone was screaming for me, and it was just such this moment of validation. But then I looked, and Doug, sitting in the back row, just was laughing and enjoying the moment, and he said, "I knew you could do it." And so once again, it was that moment where he gave me that motivation to keep going, that little push to realize that I am good enough and I do have these skills, and that's something that I will never forget.
I think, honestly, the most treasured experience that I've always had with Doug was all the JACCs. That's when I think of JCC, I think of Doug, because he always really cheered us on for everything.
Pretty much any time I ask Doug any question, and any type of question, it's great because he's gonna respond with a 10-minute story, usually involving horse races. He's gonna miss the original point of the question, and I don't even bother asking him because I like his tangents. I sometimes I'll ask him questions just because I know it's gonna go off on a long tangent. Just if you know him, ask him about Field of Dreams. He will go on for like 15 minutes.
Probably when we went to JCC and I won the first award that I ever won. I think he was more shocked than I was, or even my parents would have been if they were alive. It was pretty funny.
There's a lot, actually. I really liked going to Trader Joe's with Doug. We would go every other Thursday. Like I said, at JCC, we would travel around, and I don't know, I'd go everywhere with him because he knows all the creepy old stories about the buildings, and he's like a dictionary. There's never-ending flowing of information. Kind of lost track of where I was going.
You feel like you answered the question, though?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's move on.
Just going to JCC and having that experience?
Oh, there are a lot of those. I think JACC, going to that conference was lots of fun. I think all the times we, as a group, we'd go out and eat together, and just a lot of really good group things that we did as a group of journalists.
The day that I actually got cited for disobeying a firefighter and a policeman for simply doing my job and taking photographs of people out in a public area. As much as scary and frightening as that was for me, it was a huge growing moment, and he had every confidence in me that I'd handle it appropriately.
The entire time that I was at the paper was a treasured experience that I shared with Doug. He basically let me have free run of everything, and he would advise me, and I wouldn't always listen, but he always stood behind us, and I think that was really, really cool. So yeah, I'd say the entire time at the Breeze was a treasured moment I shared with Doug.
Probably all the sushi trips he would take me and Fat Jessica to all the time, because he was nice enough to feed us, even though we ate a lot. We probably had a very big sushi bill if you added it all up. So thank you, Doug. I'm forever in your debt. And sorry about the time we went to all-you-can-eat sushi with Val and I ordered way too much and then you had to pay extra. I got carried away. But we all learned that I'm not allowed to order now, so it's okay. It was a learning experience, a delicious learning experience.
Going to get pizza at JACC was SoCal Fall 2013, and I decided I wanted pizza from this place called Two Saucy Broads, and the GPS gave me the worst directions ever, and I just kept screaming no at it, and Doug just couldn't stop laughing.
Would definitely have to be when we came back from JCC from state, and we were playing a game in the van, and he could not figure out any of the I guess clues that Aaron and I were giving to figure out what object we wanted for 20 questions.
Definitely the sports talks. You're just talking trash. Him talking about my team and me somewhat agreeing with him because my team's doing pretty poorly. But yeah, we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year, so take that, Doug.
Well, I think my most memorable moment with Doug would have been at one point I was picking up some donations, I believe, for a project we were working on, and I stopped by the Breeze, and Doug and I started joking during the Breeze meeting, and I felt like I was a stand-up comedian with him. So that probably was my most memorable moment with him. That was pretty fun.
I'd say that would be my first JACC state at Sacramento. I think it was really, really awesome, and he was a really great mentor through all of that as well.
Everything with Doug has been really, really fun. I've pestered him the entire semester, asking him random questions and telling him lots and lots of jokes. He doesn't think I'm funny, but I think I'm hysterical. So that's been really fun, getting to know him and asking what his favorite color is, what his favorite movie is, what his favorite book is, and etc. But one of the stories that he told me about when he was younger, which I've always kept in mind, is when he was little he had a crush on his teacher, his second grade teacher, I think, or his kindergarten teacher, and I thought that was just adorable.
My funniest Doug moment is when I told Doug that I was in love with this group called One Direction, and he called them One Dimension, and now he calls them that all the time.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of one that I can name that's not gonna get like him in trouble or me in trouble. No, we'll pass and come back. I gotta pass and come back.
I really haven't had a funniest moment with Doug yet. Hope I will sometime soon. But Doug, he is a funny guy. He cracks a lot of jokes in class. He makes people laugh.
We were at JCC, and we'd been pranking each other at JCC since I started, and it was my last time going, and I wanted to go out with a bang. So what we did was, it was me and Josh Hicken and a few others. We went out to a store and bought a bunch of Girls in Bikinis magazines, not nude, but Girls in Bikinis magazines. And we stole Doug's hotel key, and we covered his room in scantily clad women. We even made like a mural of half-naked women on his television. I remember like only right after someone said, "I don't think you guys can do that. You might get Doug fired." But by the time that information came to light, he was already back in his room. We hid one in his laptop bag that we know he didn't find until like 4 days later. And so that was my favorite funny moment with Doug.
I don't really have a funniest moment with Doug. I just remember I stayed up all night the night before because I felt like I was going to sleep through the whole drive coming home from Sacramento JCC. And we stopped to have some pea soup at Anderson's, and I remember being exhausted. I was just asleep, and everyone stopped and was like, "All right, Jimmy, let's go eat." I was like, "All right, let's do this."
Actually, Doug is funny all the time. Doug, he always found humor in everything that we did. Just hearing Doug laugh made me want to laugh. Doug, you are the kind of person that just brings a lot of cheer, and I'm very appreciative of how you just are spontaneous and cheerful. That's no lie. I'm telling the truth, for real.
We all had decided that we were going to go to Pea Soup Anderson's on the way home, and I don't know that I've ever seen Doug so excited for anything ever. And so as we're driving
he knew where we were going, but the rest of us like kind of knew where Pea Soup Anderson's was, and not really. And the closer we got, the more excited he got. And then he was so excited that I was able, with the help of Val, to convince him to take a picture with me in those little cardboard cutouts where it's just your face. And normally it takes a lot of convincing to get Doug to do anything of that nature. Heck, Doug doesn't like being in pictures, period, and yet he did, because he was so excited to be at Pea Soup Anderson's. So that was a really funny moment. But really, Doug's just a really funny guy, and I love that he always was most of the time was able to make me laugh, even when I was in the middle of a panic, or realizing that photos weren't going to come through that were supposed to, or realized that someone missed a deadline that was really bad. Doug could usually make me laugh, which would make me then laugh at myself for how serious I was taking life. But yeah.
One day, by coincidence, me and Doug came to the office wearing the same shirt. It was like a green plaid button-up shirt, and I stood next to him and I told him how we're matching. And it was like a past, I guess, I don't know if Doug is the future, but whatever. Old man, young man, we were like one and the same. Doug says he sees a lot of himself in me, and for good and bad, and that really illustrated that. So that was fun.
Doug played ring toss. I think it was last year. It was Michelle and Calvin's birthday party, and everybody had little green goatees on, and he was just really animated, doing the Doug dance, and woo, yeah. He's very competitive. I don't think people know that. He's very competitive.
What is my funniest Doug moment? I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. Whatever. Woo! Honestly, I'd say 95% of the things Doug said were usually funny, obnoxious. He would try to annoy you. He would try to get on your nerves. He'd also try to improve you, but I don't know. I mean, Doug was usually funny.
We had a Christmas party one year, and Doug sang karaoke with Janet, and he also danced the cha-cha slide. Yeah, the guy's got no rhythm.
I think the funniest Doug moments are when he's so tickled by something that it just cracks him up and he doubles over and just giggles. That happens a lot. And those are very funny moments.
I don't have just one funniest Doug moment. The man's so funny and so enlightening in so many ways that I would have to say knowing him is like a funny Doug moment. It is my moment in time to just acknowledge he exists and have him cheer me up.
The first JACC in Sacramento, I was writing a story that involved writing the word Sacramento several times, and I misspelled it, of course. And at that time, Doug, he realized that you don't put Andrea in there to just write a story off the fly, because it's not going to happen. And I thought that was pretty funny, and he didn't think it was funny at all. He was pretty pissed. Sorry, Doug.
I don't know, making him feel uncomfortable when Jessica and I would make all of our sex jokes. And he would get up and leave the room and be all uncomfortable. That was hilarious. But also anytime Doug laughed, because like sometimes I don't even know what it'd be. That something would like make him laugh and he just giggle like a little kid, and it was the funniest thing.
My funniest Doug moment, it's my treasured moment also. It's just going to JACC with Doug and yelling no at that GPS.
I'm gonna go with JCC when he got so excited to get his pea soup when we were coming back home.
Most funniest memory with Doug? Okay. Yeah, there's a great sports writer, and he was just amazing, right? And he had this great voice, great writing skills, loved baseball. So JACC comes around, and Doug and I think I'm going, right? I'm probably gonna compete, whatever. I did that last semester, my first semester. And yeah, Danny was still my sports editor at this point, but Doug comes up to me and he goes, "Just so you know, Spencer's going. You're not going." And so he told me that, and I was kind of devastated. And then I guess the night before we leave, or like the week of that we leave, I can't quite remember. Doug gets a phone call from Spencer, and Spencer tells him that he can't go. So then Doug goes, "Are you shitting me? I just told Silvani that she's not going, that she's not competing." So we go to JACC, we cover the event, and I think it was women's lacrosse, and at Occidental College, and I won like some award. So Doug goes up to me and he's like, "Yeah, the year I tell you that you're not going is the one year that you win." And he like, you know, since then he's like, "Oh, she proved me wrong that day." So that's that would have to be my most treasured experience with Doug. Yeah, not my funniest, even though it was pretty funny. Mostly because I got you, Doug.
We had some good laughs when we were playing ring toss, I'll say that. Matter of fact, I'm a champ at ring toss. The world just doesn't know it yet, but I'm a champ.
The one that comes to mind right away was the Breeze Christmas party. I forget what year it was, but I believe it was Doug and Janet, and I forget the song, but they were being pretty, I think it was Sinatra that they were singing for karaoke at this Mexican restaurant that we went to, and that's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen Doug do.
Okay, so there's a truck driver, and he's driving down this really, really long winding path, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and it's been a really, really long drive, and this is all he's been doing for like the past few hours. So he stops by, he starts to get a little bit hungry, so he stops at a convenience store, and he buys a bag of chips, some cookies, and like soda, and some coffee to keep him up. He goes back into his truck and he continues driving, and he's listening to the music and he's dancing along, and then all of a sudden he hears this rustling on the seat beside him. He's like, what is that? And he looks over and he sees a cookie jump out of the box, and he starts dancing and singing along, and the truck driver's just like, "What is this cookie doing?" And he's like, "No, Cookie, you can't do that. This is my truck. I don't want you singing and dancing. I just want to listen to the radio." And so the cookie's like, "Okay," and he goes back into the box. And so the truck driver continues driving down the winding road, and then the next song pops up, and the cookie jumps out of the box again and starts singing and dancing along. And the truck driver's just like, "That's it, you can't keep doing this to me, I just want to listen to the radio." And so he tells the cookie, "If you do this one more time, I'm gonna throw you into the sea." And the cookie is like, okay, I won't do that anymore. Goes back into the box. And the truck driver keeps driving. And then finally, another song hits the radio, and the cookie jumps out, starts singing and dancing again. Truck driver's fed up, grabs a cookie, throws him into the ocean. And finally, my last and final joke, which I think is the most hilarious joke, and Doug, this is for you. There was once a fiance, a guy. He was dating this girl for about 8 years. Really, really loved her, decided he wanted to marry her. So he decided to throw a big shindig. Go to a restaurant, do a reservation, get a big, fancy, expensive ring, and then ask them to play music and bring out a 3-4 course meal. And so he goes and does this, and the restaurant manager guy says, "Yeah, okay, everything will be set up for you." And the next day he goes in with his girlfriend, and he's really, really excited. And the way they had it planned was to bring out the ring right away when the champagne came. So the champagne came out, the waiter brought champagne, everything. The girlfriend drank the champagne, there was no ring. The guy started to freak out. "Where is my ring? What is happening? Is she gonna say yes? Is she gonna say no?" And he sees in the corner of his eye the manager kind of waving him over. So he goes over to the manager and he asks the manager, "What's going on? Where's my ring? I thought we were supposed to do this before the champagne." And the manager says, "I can't find the ring." And he starts to freak out. "Oh my God, not only am I worried that she's gonna say no, but now I don't even have the ring so I could propose to her." And then all of a sudden, the cook comes rushing out, and he's like, "No, I found the ring. And he took a deep breath, and he was like, okay, so just bring it out during the main course." And so they're like, "Okay, no worries." And he goes back to sit with his girlfriend, and they bring out the seafood platter for him. And he's all excited because now his girlfriend is gonna take a bite, and she's gonna find the ring, and hopefully she'll say yes. And this band starts coming over to the table and starts playing this really, really loud, very nice, fancy music. And all of a sudden, the girlfriend looks down at her dish and she sees it moving and she screams, and a cookie jumps out and starts dancing and singing along with music.
I do have words of wisdom for Doug. 1 tweet a day will keep the doctor away.
I do not have any words of wisdom for Doug. I think Doug is a really wise guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get around, and He's on top of his game.
I don't know. That's like telling fire how to be hot. That's bullshit. Here's my impression of Doug. Doug is like, if I was to describe the way Doug is to people, that would really break it down why that's such a hard question. Doug knows more than most people I've ever met. He always knows what to say and what to do, but he's so cool about it. He wants everyone to think it was your idea, especially if you're the editor, so he'll pull you aside like, gosh, you might want to think twice about the red shirt in this picture because I don't know how you give advice to someone like that. I guess my advice would be go to a strip club with me and Josh like we kept asking you to. That's my advice, is go to a strip club with us. Because what else can I tell the guy? The guy knows everything.
If you really want success in life, Doug, try to find Satan in your heart.
Use the force. Actually, Doug, any words of wisdom I could offer you is just stay busy in your retirement. Enjoy your life. Do something that makes you happy.
Doug, when you retire, 1, don't forget us. We're still pretty cool people. And 2, don't ever use the phrase here in retirement, because you're there. You are in retirement, so you don't need to tell us that you're here in retirement. And you know, it'll probably be very fun too, but you still might want to stay away from the word very.
Yes, Doug, when you're out in retirement, I know that you're going to take this long trip. Just relax, enjoy your time. I mean, I know you won't have an issue with doing that. You're always really relaxed, and you know, you're such a chill person, and that's what I love about you, that you're always, you know, you always have a positive attitude in everything. I don't think there was ever a time that I really saw you mad or sad or anything. You always have this positive attitude. So words of wisdom, just enjoy your retirement, enjoy the US. I know you're gonna go to Canada, you're gonna go to different places, so just enjoy your time. You definitely deserve this retirement.
Words of wisdom for Doug. That's something. I don't think that's even possible. Doug is so full of wisdom. I don't know what I have to contribute, except to tell him maybe, I don't know, if he could be as inspirational to, I know he has been, if he could be as inspirational to people in his life moving forward as he was to me and all his previous students, then he will be remembered for many years to come. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. He probably already knows that.
Well, Doug, I think you already know this, but your wife's always right, and all women are always right. Those are my words of wisdom for Doug.
Go vegan, Doug. Give it a try. Lose the beer belly. I don't know. Stay sexy. I don't know. Shave your hair off. Go thug. What do you want, Doug? What do you want with your life? Let's go to Mount Everest and hike it one last time. Yeah, dog.
Words of wisdom for Doug is that he enjoys his retirement and uses his pod as much as he can and just has fun and enjoys life because he's earned it.
No, just take it easy, eat well, sleep well, and enjoy retirement.
Words of wisdom would be, and he's actually kind of accepted them, would to text more often. Originally, back in the day, he didn't understand why people text and he wouldn't do it. And one day I went up to him and I told him, Doug, you text people because you don't want to have full-on conversations with them. And since then, Doug has not only started texting, but he thanked me in the past for giving him that little word, giving him that advice. Also, enjoy your vacation because you have done nothing but make everybody else's life wonderful. Now it's time for you to make your own life wonderful.
Doug, go out there and have as much fun as you can. I know you're just going to want to work in the yard and do all those kind of things and do your writing. Of course, you should do more writing. You should probably write a book about your experiences at the Breeze and you know, dealing with the kids and everything because, I mean, you have an amazing personality and I think you should share it.
Doug, don't forget to hide the pizza boxes before Kathy comes home from New York because you don't want to get in trouble for eating a bunch of crap while she was gone.
stay busy in retirement. I know you're going to be so bored. I also know it's going to be hard for you without somebody to boss you around. So just give me a call anytime you need someone to tell you what to do. Yeah, just keep smiling, keep laughing through every day. There's enough bad things in the world to be sad about, but just be happy.
Doug, you worked for so long. Now you should just really enjoy life, and you should really go to a bunch of horse races and Dodger games and have a great time.
Me being so wise, I just want to tell Doug, stay youthful, have fun, laugh a lot, and that's about it, you know? He seems like he's on the right track. He seems like a good guy. He'll be okay.
Even if you're retiring, don't ever stop working.
Well, he has no problem keeping up with the news. That's his thing. But my words of wisdom for Doug are probably pretty redundant. Definitely keep up with the technology of the new age of news. Use that Twitter some more and enjoy your retirement. Must be nice.
Come visit the people who'll miss you. That's one thing, but it's mainly not for you, it's for us. I really think that you should come visit, even though you're often retired, and have a really, really wonderful time going to the racetrack, traveling, anything that you're going to do. But take a time to enjoy the things that you don't like poetry and us.
I've advised Doug over and over and over and over and over to grow a beard. I even have one of his pictures that he had up on his wall with him with a beard. I stole it on my way out. I didn't ask if I could have it, I just took it. And it's in my room. I would advise Doug to grow a beard, but he's not going to.
I love Doug enough. Sure, Doug, I love you.
I love you, Doug.
Oh, fuck yeah, this one's easy. Doug, I love you.
Okay, hold on. I love you, Doug.
Do I love Doug enough to look into the camera and tell him I love him? I'm going to. Hello, Doug. I love you, man. You're the best. I love you, Doug.
Doug Walsh, I love you, and I am so glad that you came into my life when you did. I know that I wouldn't be who I am today, and I will forever be thankful for your influence.
Yes, Doug, I love you. Bye.
Doug, I love you.
I love you, Doug.
Doug, I love you. I'd give you a hug, but you're not here. See ya. So. There it is, folks, for now.
I love you, Doug. That's so weird.
Doug, I love you.
Doug, I love you. Thank you for everything, and I'll never find another instructor and mentor that I love as much as you.
I do. Doug, I love you.
Do I love Doug enough to look in the camera and tell him that I love him? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I love you, Doug, and I miss you. I can't believe you're retiring, but when you come to Upland to play poker, don't forget I work at Denny's, so stop by. I'll get you a moons over my hammy or something. We can catch up. All right? I love you, Doug. I do. And thank you so much for all your help. I'm gonna cry.
I love Doug Walsh. I love you, Doug. Doug, I love you, and I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna give you one. Doug, I love you, Doug. You are awesome. Peace.
Doug, I love you. Thank you for all that you've done for me. Yeah.
I'm making this really awkward.
And the snail was like, okay, I want you to paint my car. I wanted like a new like color job, everything, and then I want you to paint a big red S on the front door. The mechanic was like, okay, sure, we'll do that for you. And afterwards, like a few days passed by and the snail came back for his car, and the mechanic just couldn't help asking, like, why did you want this big S on your front door? And the snail was like, well, isn't it obvious? So then when I'm driving, people will point at me and say, look at that S car go.
Please like, share, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me personally, and it really does help my channel. You guys have a nice day, and thank you very much. Oh, cat! I just killed a cat. Oh, that poor kitty.